young lady from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Richards, thank you for being here and testifying today. I'm troubled by the ongoing attacks to defund Planned Parenthood, an organization that provides such extensive preventative health care services to millions of women. And in fact, I ask unanimous consent to submit for the record a letter from 92 organizations that work closely with Planned Parenthood, talking about all of the great high-quality health care Planned Parenthood provides to women and men across the country.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. I myself have received services from Planned Parenthood. In fact, I, like many young men and women in this country, when I was in my early 20s and first in college, I came from a very poor family. And I wasn't really able to afford college. And in fact, I went to college based on student loans and Pell Grants and 2 jobs, one of which was as a waitress. I couldn't get that waitressing job without getting a health exam. And I couldn't afford to go to a doctor, and the job was there. You can start Friday if you come in with a valid health exam. Go to your local Planned Parenthood. They'll do it for you today, and you can start work in 2 days. It was a lifesaver. And so I remember what it was like to be a young person needing the health care and being able to trust that I could go to my local Planned Parenthood to get all the care that I needed. So thank you to the organization for providing those services for me when I was in need. I want to talk a little bit about what you do across the country and focus a little bit as an example on my home state of Illinois. I think it's a critical point that 96% of the services at Planned Parenthood, according to your most recent annual report, are for preventative and screening services. In fact, in Illinois for 2015, and I think, tell me if these numbers sound accurate to you, nearly 60,000 patients were served over the course of approximately 110,000 visits. Nearly 50,000 visits were for contraceptive services, and over 34,000 visits were for STDs testing and treatment. 7,000 visits were for cancer screenings. Does that sound about right to you, Ms. Richard?
That does. Thank you. Yes, Congresswoman.
Thank you. I would like to address an issue that started very early on in this hearing, which was this implication that by allowing Medicare and Medicaid to reimburse Planned Parenthood, we are shifting money away that could be better used for military defense and for our servicemen and women. And as a military woman who just retired after 23 years of service, I'd like to ask you to talk a little bit about the services that Planned Parenthood has provided to military men and women and their families for the past several decades, and also include the women of the Peace Corps. I think that it is especially important to note that the very women who are willing to lay down their lives to defend the Constitution of this great nation were denied services under the Hyde Amendment for abortion services, especially as a result of rape or incest. And especially, this is tragic in light of the many tens of thousands of women who are victims of military sexual trauma every single year. So could you go over what you have done for military men and women and Peace Corps volunteers for the past many decades?
Well, thank you, and I'm glad we were able to provide you health care when you needed it. I know for many young women, I too, my first real doctor visit was at a Planned Parenthood when I'd gone away from Texas. So I'm grateful as well to the organization. We do serve everyone, and that is really our mantra is care no matter what. We believe it's so important that no matter what walk of life someone comes from, whether they're insured, whether they're in the military, that they get services. In fact, I remember the last time that this House of Representatives went through a similar exercise. I remember hearing from a woman in North Carolina who said, she wrote in, she said, if they know that us military wives go to Planned Parenthood when the doctor on base can't see us. And so I do know that we serve military families all over this country, and we're proud to do so.
Can you talk a little bit about Senator Murray's bipartisan legislation to allow Women, Veterans, and Families Health Services Act, which would allow us access to IVF treatment, many of us for infertility issues caused by a military service, being withdrawn as a result of the attacks on Planned Parenthood?
Well, I'm not that familiar with all the details of her bill, but I know Senator Murray has been a strong advocate for ensuring that women in the military get the same types of services that women do here in the States. And I think we're highly supportive of that. It's incredibly important to me that we equalize women's access to health care, both globally and in the U.S.